Hey there, YouTube. Got a question for you. Just how outdated is the Gl1500? This is a 1993 Gullwing 6-cylinder 1500 that I bought 6 months ago for $3,200 from a dealership. Dealership threw new tires on it and gave it an oil change before they gave it to me. When I bought it, it basically was fully functional and still is, but all of the chrome that was on it, were very little, and all the aluminums that were on the bike from the factory, the wheels, footrest, things of that nature, were just dead. Rusted, corroded, discolored, pitted badly. But the bike itself was in solid shape. What I've done to it is basically clean up everything I could about it within reason. And I put about $2,200 into the bike. So right now my cost on this thing is about $5,400. It has 48,000 miles on it and runs like a dream. Drives unbelievably smooth. And I've basically put everything I could think of into this bike without it looking too insane. I've had to use a little bit more chrome than I wanted. Didn't really want the fairing chromes, but I couldn't find the replacement pieces for what was missing there. Couldn't find replacement chrome for underneath the footrest, so I used car wrap chrome vinyl, which not too bad. It came out, it worked. Replaced the seat cover because the front of the horn was completely worn through. I found a guy in Thailand actually sells, both in the gray and the black, a match for the original seat cover, even with the embossed logo on it. So it wasn't through Amazon, it wasn't through eBay, and it took me months before I found the link to the guy. If I find it again, I'll post it. But basically, we added a wood grain kit to the dashboard and cockpit, part of the saddlebag and trunk area, just to give it a neat look. And mixed with the chrome and the fact that off camera, in the real world, the bike looks more teal than blue. It just looks great. Very like earth tony colors that work well together, and the chrome just pops right out of it. So this bike, like I say, it can go on the sound system. I can feed it with an iPod on one side. I'll usually hang the phone that's in my hand right now from this one and run XM, Pandora, whatever, all from apps. Basically, everything I could get in chrome is in chrome. This is not a Canadian edition Gullwing. I just happened to get that shelter, and it had that plate in it, and rather than switch it to the one that just said special edition, I left it. But we've gotten rid of all of those black vents, all of the old knobs, and put chrome, or cleaned up, everything we could. There are a lot of like minor imperfections in the bike still, don't get me wrong, but it's the kind of thing that you have to look for. And if that's what your mindset is, then that's what you're going to look for. But this is it. This is done. I'm going to give it the final test of whether or not this Gullwing is worthwhile. And that is the quarter test. The bike has not been started in 3 days. It's been sitting here. Right now it's about 75 degrees outside. So it's not really cold out. The engine's not that cold. But I'm going to fire it up. And I'm going to see just how smooth a 27-year-old Honda Gullwing engine is. I'll throw the choke on. Hit the key. And here we go. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's a 27-year-old motorcycle engine. The quarter's sitting steady as a rock. I'm going to even, if I can, there it goes. I can throw it off by goosing the motor, but it basically just sits. We got replacement lights pretty much all the way around. 1800, quarter just fell off. 1800 cup holders on it. Voltmeter. And a lot of guys say they have trouble in forums with their motorcycle not wanting to restart. And I wish I'd shown you this a second earlier. What happens with this bike is when I started, the alternator is only outputting about 11.6 volts. And it will stay down there unless you goose the engine. You goose the engine, and for some reason it pops right up to 14 or so, and it stays there pretty much the entire time you're riding, even with all the heaters going, the additional lights going, stereo going, everything. It usually stays above 13.5, 13.6. But this is it. This is the final version. So you got to ask yourself, is it really worth spending $20,000 on a giant scooter? Or do we want to send Honda the message about stop taking away our buttons? Because I never even considered buying a lot of the middle year Goldwings because they tried to condense all of their controls to like one hand controller on the left side. Or they put that airbag in here and got rid of the original stereo and moved some of the controls over to the left side of the fairing. Things like that. As a Goldwing owner, this is my third wing. As far as I'm concerned, leave me my buttons. Don't take them away. You know, Honda, if you want to build giant scooters, that's great, but you shouldn't really just turn your back on building giant motorcycles, because this looks more like a motorcycle to me. This rides more like a motorcycle, and people look at it that way. So there it is, boys and girls, moms and dads. This is what a 27-year-old $5,400 motorcycle looks and runs like. And there it is, the Goldwing. There is no substitute.